Hey friend, it's been crazy days while traveling here in Southeast Asia, and body clock is a little bit off still, but we're figuring it all out. Long story short, I have not been able to record the normal video version of the broadcast that I'd like to. And so because of that, we're actually throwing it all the way back to Christmas time of 2020. And again, no video version, but I appreciate so much the fact that you are tuning in right now, and I hope you enjoy this blast from the past. It's been about 6 months since we've done a program from the past in the current. And so thank you so much to many of you that prayed for my travels and continue to, and looking forward to what God is going to do here in Myanmar, Old Burma, and across the world through the ministry of Bible Tracts Incorporated. Now, stay tuned for Bible Tract Echoes. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. I'm evangelist Mike McCurry, and I have the great honor of being your host today for the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast. Thank you so much for beginning your Christmas week right here. I'm excited to be with you. We have so much to cover. We're going to jump right into it in just a moment, but let me say this right off the bat. I hope and pray that you have a phenomenal Christmas week. I hope you're able to be a part of some festivities. I hope the presents that are exchanged are heartwarming and very well thought out. I hope that you have the opportunity to do some thinking about some Christmas gifts, getting those for some other people. Of course, this season is not about receiving. It's about giving. It's about Christ. And I'm excited to talk about that a little bit more in just one moment. But I gotta say, thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot to me that you would spend a portion of your Christmas week with our BTI team. Again, we're based out of Bloomington, Illinois. Bible Tracts Incorporated is been around for over 80 years. And from all of us, our technology team, our media team, graphic design, the operations folks that allow us to put out millions of gospel tracts every year, and from myself sitting behind the director's desk here in the studio room at Bible Tracts Incorporated, thank you, thank you, thank you. Without people like you listening to this program, there wouldn't be much point in me talking to this microphone right now, would there be? Without people like you that financially partner with us and allow this ministry to go forward, we would not survive, much less thrive. Thank you so much for your part in our ministry. Before we go any further, I'd like to tell you what the main thrust, the gist of our time today is going to be focused on: an amazing blast from the past. What am I talking about? Well, I will tell you. You see, I had the opportunity not long ago to go back through the archives. I went back and looked at some Bible Tracts bulletins from many years ago. I went back to the very beginning. I went back past 1990, past 1980, past 1970, all the way back to very close to the beginning of this very broadcast. Of course, the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast has been going out around the country and around the world since 1958, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And today I'm going to give you a little bit of our history. We're going to look at some Christmas time bulletins from our founder, evangelist Paul Levin. We're going to read some things that he wrote all the way back in 1960 and 1961. I'm so excited to share those things with you. But before we do that, you got to stick around. Don't go anywhere. Before we do that, I'm going to share with you a letter from the front. Now, those of you that are new to the program might not know what I'm talking about. We haven't done these in a little while, but I figured today, as we focus on the Christmas season, it's a great time to look at some of the gifts, some of the blessings that God has given us. And today I'm going to read one or two testimonies from a man that lives not too far from Bloomington. He lives in the Peoria area. He attends a great church, El Vista Baptist Church, pastored by Pastor Joey Watt. His name is Gail, and he uses gospel tracts. He's very intentional about using gospel tracts. Not only does he use them when the opportunity presents itself, but he also makes the opportunity present itself. He uses gospel tracts on purpose. He's an older gentleman, and I'm so thankful for his faithfulness, not only to his church, but also, and more importantly, to the Lord. He uses gospel tracts at bus stops. He'll go out, and this is part of his weekly routine. Not necessarily to ride the bus for the point of riding the bus. No, he goes to bus stops to confront people about their need for a Savior, to leave them with a small piece of gospel literature called a Bible tract. He gets them from our ministry, Bible Tracts Incorporated, and he gets them for free. You heard that right. It's not just a special deal that we give Gail. You see, all of our gospel tracts, our mass-produced tracts, are done for free. They're printed, the paper and ink, we pay for that. Now, kind folks just like you partner with us for the sake of printing them, but we print them, we package them, we distribute, we ship them around the world completely free. And here's what Gail wrote a letter to me not long ago. Here's what he said. The following are some of the bus-related accounts of salvation I told you about. Here we go. I was at the transit center in Peoria, waiting for my bus. As I was witnessing to an elderly woman, a young woman came up as I was looking for an invitation card from my church, a gospel tract. She asked me, "What do you have for me?" What a great thing to ask a soul winner, Gail says here in parentheses. Therefore, I gave her a tract which she read, and by it, she accepted Jesus Christ as her personal Lord and Savior. Now, here's the amazing thing that I'd like to point out. Gail was just simply a conduit of not only God's love, but also of Bible tracts. Yes, was Gail confident enough? Was Gail brave enough to answer that lady when she asked, "What do you have for me?" And he was strong enough to take that tract out of his pocket and press it into her hands. But as she sat down, while Gail continued his conversation with the older woman, that lady sat down, read that gospel tract, and got saved. What an amazing account of the goodness of God. I'm going to read a few more letters from the front tomorrow and Wednesday, but let's jump into this, our Bible Tract Bulletin. This is the November and December edition from 1960. Imagine that. Here's what our founder, evangelist Paul Levin, said. Let's do the math here. How long ago was that? Well, 2010 was 10 years. 2000 was 20. 90 was 30, 80 was 40, 70 was 50. That means 1960 was 60 years ago. I'm so thankful that God allowed this remnant from 1960 to still be around in its original form. Here's what Paul Levin says. Thanks to God for friends like you. Thanks for the loyal crew of workers who enable us to carry on the Bible tract work by radio and by free literature. He then mentions thanks to Dorothy Cordell of Peoria, Illinois, who works during her noon hours at Laterno Westinghouse, typing all the dictaphone work I send her, averaging about 1,000 letters and cards plus many manuscripts per year, and then get this, without pay. Now, I never had the opportunity myself to meet Miss Dorothy, but she sounds like someone, a real servant of God. Continue on here. Thanks to Dyke Wilson of St. Louis, who for about 13 years has faithfully wrapped and mailed all the small tract orders from his home without pay. Thanks to Bob Sackett of Waterloo, who supervises all the details of the office in Waterloo without pay. Now, pause here for just a moment and understand that Bible Tracts Incorporated was at one time based out of Waterloo, Iowa, and the Lord allowed it to come towards central Illinois area, Bloomington, Illinois to be exact. We continue on. Thanks to Pastor Al, who is now printing 130,000 Portuguese tracts, which will be distributed to every house in Lisbon. He is doing this without pay. Thanks to the many friends who remembered me on my 46th birthday last October. Now get that, Paul Levin, 46 years old in 1960. He passed away in 1996. He ran his course well. He continues, thanks to all you pastors who get bundles of the bulletin and distribute them to your people. Thanks to you 12 prayer groups who faithfully take the needs and the opportunities of Bible tracts to God in fervent, believing, intercessory prayer. Thanks to you radio listeners. Well, he's talking to you right now from 1960. Thanks to you radio listeners who have responded to our programs, enabling us to stay on the air in your area. Let me pause here for just a moment. We have a little bit of time here. Friend, if you're listening to the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast, I would love to hear from you personally, but let me also tell you this. If you do us a great favor of contacting your radio station, wherever you happen to be listening to it, and telling them how much you appreciate this broadcast. Now, don't lie about it. If you don't appreciate the broadcast, then it's okay. We'll hopefully turn you around in this coming year. Hopefully, you'll begin to appreciate it. I have a special guest that will be joining me in the new year. You're not going to want to miss that. But in all sincerity, if you do enjoy the broadcast, if it has in any way been a blessing to you, would you let your local radio station know that? It's such an encouragement to them, and it's so helpful to us as they consider what programs to keep on the air. Let's jump back in. Thanks to the fine men who serve on our board, and to the men whose names appear on the board of references. And I can echo that. To the men that currently sit on the board of Bible Tracts Incorporated, I am so proud to be partnered with you folks for the gospel's sake, and, if I can say this as well, for all the men, the legacy of great men that have sat on this board. I'm so very thankful for each and every one of you. Many now gone on to be with the Lord, but it's such a blessing to be co-laborers with you in that way. Thanks to all you churches and groups and individuals who send regular gifts throughout the year. Thanks to every one of you who help us in this work, whether your part is large or small. And he signs off with this: wishing you all a wonderful Thanksgiving and Christmas time. I am gratefully yours, Paul J. Levin. Well, what a great note, and what a blast from the past. I'm so thankful for our founder, and I'm thankful that we have this record of his thanks. Of course, that was the November and December edition, and you may have figured out there that even though we are in this Christmas season now, we should not forget the fact that we very recently came through a Thanksgiving season, and we should strongly consider being in a state of perpetual thankfulness. We should always be thankful. We should continue in thankfulness. Really, the Christmas season is just a continuation of the Thanksgiving season. Why, you ask? Because God saw fit to send His Son, the most special gift of all time, for our salvation. He vicariously, that means in our place, He died on the cross. He suffered the shame and the agony, not only of death, but also of bearing our sin. Friend, this Christmas season, truthfully, it's a Thanksgiving season. I actually, not long ago, released a blog post on my personal website, micahmccurry.com. That's MICAHMCCURRY.com, talking about this very subject of being in perpetual thanksgiving. We serve a great God. We serve a good God. I hope you will remember that. I hope as well that you will remember that Bible Tracts Incorporated can be your source for free gospel literature. That's what we have been dedicated to for over 8 decades, all the way from our founder, Dr. Paul Levin. Visit BibleTractsInc.org and do not miss the remainder of this Christmas week right here on the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast. We'll talk to you very soon. God bless.